Morning, everyone, or afternoon, however you're listening to this podcast. This is episode 2 of the Right on Cue podcast. My guest today is Ollie Briffett Payne. Say hello, Ollie.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. My name's Mark Tebbett. I'll be your host as usual. If you've watched the first episode that we recorded with Dom Cooney, the audio was a little bit out because we were filming upstairs in the snooker hall, and obviously with people playing snooker, you can hear the balls clattering. So we are trying to clean it up, but it's proven a bit of a difficult task at the minute. But you can still hear what me and Dom are saying. But hopefully today it will be a lot better with Ollie, because I'm in a different room at Tamworth Sports Bar where we're filming. So I just thought I'd get that out of the way. Hopefully you can hear myself and Ollie having a chat a little bit better. So, as I just said, my guest today is 17-year-old Ollie Briffett Payne, the Welsh Wonderkid, as I nicknamed him. Is that nickname stuck?
Yeah, too well.
Oh, has it really?
Yeah, the club and everything. It's feeling like me.
Oh, really? Is it? You're not liking it?
No, it's fine.
Well, you're stuck with it now, anyway. So the first question, obviously you're quite young still. How did you get into snooker?
Really, it was just obviously my dad and stuff, and then I sort of like seen like a cue or something that he had bought, and I asked what it was, and I think it was on the telly at the time, and he put it on, and then I went down to Darren Morgan's Snooker Club, and obviously had a game of pool, went down a couple of times, wanted to try out the snooker, and then I walked in there one Saturday morning, and Lee Walker was doing the junior club in there that they run every Saturday morning. And obviously I walked in not knowing what it was. And my mum sort of asked Walker what it was all about. And then as the years went by, I kept going to the junior club and kept playing in Darren's club. And in the end, he sort of helped me out with a bit of free play. And then it progressed, and he just sort of helped me more and more and more, Darren.
Oh, good stuff. So would you class yourself as quite naturally gifted at it, or was it through hard graft that you got to where you are?
No, it's definitely more natural. I remember when I was younger and stuff, obviously Lee's more of a coach, and Darren sort of said, obviously, just lay natural talent, like shine through sort of thing. So he was like, just sort of enjoy playing and just sort of like lay natural talent come through a bit more. So I sort of done that ever since.
Okay, cool.
Never had any coaching.
You don't go to school or college or anything now, do you?
No.
You're 100% dedicated to...
Pretty much.
So how often do you practice?
Obviously I do work as well as a sort of like a lifeguard at the same time in a leisure centre, but it's a 0-hour contract. So I do the hours I want, really. So I try and sort of fit in. I go up at about 11, try and do all the tables, brush 9 all tables up the club. I try and play from about 12 till about 5. Or if I'm trying to have a game with someone like Andrew Paget or Dylan Emery, who's helped me out a lot. Yeah. So I try and play them for a couple more hours, maybe. Okay. Yeah, I try and do about 5 hours.
Do you have a certain routine that you go through when you're playing? Do you do like the Christmas tree lineup, a standard lineup? Do you practice your straight cueing by going up and down the spots? What's your sort of normal? Do you have a normal routine?
A lot of things I do, obviously, like Darren's obviously helped me out with, said when he was playing, what he'd done. A lot of it's to do with sort of concentration, lineups, tee lineups. A lot of it's to sort of like help me with my cue ball. Like obviously like taking only one colour, doing them in order, doing like not touching the cushion and stuff like that. And then I sort of move on then to long pot, and then maybe a bit of safety then at the end as well, which I need to improve on.
Do you find, so you would class yourself as more of an attacking, sort of go for anything kind of guy?
Maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you've represented Wales. You've got a list as long as my arm with what you've won. Just tell the people that might not know that are watching or listening what you've won.
I played for Wales when I was first 10 or 11. It was either, I think it might have been 11. And Then I represented Wales and Ireland. Then in Wales again. Then I represented Wales and Leeds. And in 2 European Championships, and the third one's coming up now in Malta. I've won 2 Q-Stars ranking events, under 21s. I've won the Welsh under 14s ranking twice, ranking event. Won a Welsh under 16s ranking event and 2 Welsh under 18s ranking events.
So you're not too shabby with a Q in your hand.
Oh, something like that.
So you won the under 14s, the Welsh under 14s. Do you remember much about that? Who you were playing, how old you were, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I remember that the first tournament I ever won, really, the first big one that was. And I think I won my first round, couldn't really remember who I played. Then I think I won another one, can't really remember. Then I won my semi, but I remember not dropping frame then until the final. And I obviously remember, you'll all know him, Liam Davis.
Liam Davis, yeah, very good.
I couldn't beat him for years and years, and I remember beating him 3-2, and I was buzzing. That was like when I was maybe 12, I think it was.
Okay, and you've also won the under 16s that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And the under 18s. Do you remember much about the under 16s one?
Yeah, I remember having a bye first round. Then I remember winning 3-0 and 3-0 to get the final. Then, because it was in my own club, I remember, I think I beat Liam again in the final 3-1. But he's definitely turned me over a couple more times. I've turned him over.
Yeah. And what about your under 18s?
I think again, it was, I won my first round 3-0 or 3-1. Then another one 3-0. And then I think I beat Liam in the semis 3-0. And then I beat Zach Koska in the final 3-1. That was in my club as well.
So you beat some good Welsh talent on the way then.
Yeah, it's pretty good standard.
You've just been for the one in Malta that's coming up. You're in. Is it the under 18s team you're in?
Yeah.
How did you go about getting selected for that? Did you?
That's,
is it just from because you're known, or did you have to go through some sort of competition to get picked?
So they obviously do the ranking events in Wales.
Yeah.
They obviously play 4 events, from the first under 18s event to the 4th, and whoever performs best out of the top 5 in Wales obviously gets selected to play. So like you obviously have a ranking event system, same as in England really.
Yeah.
A bit similar, just so you play 4 events, and then whoever performs best out of them 4 events, the top 5 players go. And then the under 21s, the same sort of thing, and I know the last one now to try and qualify tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Are you in that, or are you just under 18s?
No, I'm in the 21s as well.
You're under 20, so you could end up representing Wales in both.
I did last year out in Albania.
And how did you get on?
I think I lost 3-1 in the last 32 of the 18s to Liam Graham.
Oh, from Scotland.
And then I think in the 21s, I lost to last 32 again. I lost to Florian.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
4-3.
4-3. Oh, it's a close one.
Yeah.
Do you have a coach to help you with your snooker, or is it just if Darren's about or if Lee's about, they'll just sort of come and help you?
It's sort of really like Lee don't play at the club no longer, so it's pretty much just if I'm struggling with something, or like there's something maybe needs a little bit of tweaking, I just sort of say, Dad, can you have a look at this? And he goes, yeah, no worries, or do this or do that, and then I try and do my best to sort of like follow that. Okay,
obviously you've won a lot of competitions that we've gone through. Do you suffer with nerves? Do you have any way of handling that, or do you just not really think about it?
Yeah, I do get quite nervous. Like I speak to a lot of people, and like sort of an hour, half an hour before the game, how you feeling? And I'm like bricking it. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't feel great before game, but I feel like once I get on there, I'm all right. But yeah, it's more from waiting about and hanging about. I don't handle it particularly too well. I just want to get on there and play. So
you're nervous before, but once you've played a few shots, you're settled in, you're you find. What about when it comes to like deciding frames, or if it goes down to a black ball, that sort of, the nerves must be.
Yeah, that don't feel great. All I've done in deciders where like a lot of experienced players told me just try and sort of build a lead, just don't give anything away, and then if it sort of gets quite close, then obviously my back arm starts shaking and my mouth gets a bit dry. But I don't feel like it's the end of the world. But you just gotta try and like stay in the present, stay one shot at a time, and then whatever happens then after that is you just gotta try your best.
Yeah. So you've made a 147 before.
Yeah, on my own in practice, really.
That's fine. Was it? Do you remember much about it? Were the balls? Was it in like a lineup, or was it just a knockabout sort of frame that you were doing?
I think it was like a weird like one where it's like a lineup, but there was like reds coming off the side and stuff. But they were on the tee. But like I thought I hadn't had one yet. Really, I was like maybe 14. I don't know how old I was. I think I made 14 or 15. I thought I'm just gonna try and make one, and I made one like pretty much straight away. So
were they all nicely set out for you then? You didn't really have any issues?
I didn't have to move much. I remember potting like a good yellow maybe, but I don't know. It's a bit easier, isn't it, on your own? Well,
in my experience, no. I'm lucky to get a 14, let alone a 147. So what are your ambitions in snooker? Is it to turn professional? Do you want to just represent Wales like you're doing now? What's sort of like your aim?
So obviously now I don't think I'm quite ready to be on yet, but obviously the Welsh Open now is in February, and I've got a wild card into that.
Yeah.
So that's nice, a good bit of experience for when maybe I do get on the tour. But I don't think I'm ready to be on there yet. So I think a couple more years in the amateur game, learning my trade sort of thing, learning tactical side of the game, practicing with better players, and then maybe try and get on as soon as I possibly can. But when it'll come when I'm ready, sort of thing, hopefully.
So what would be your route to trying to turn pro? Would it be Q school?
It might
not go to.
Say probably the European under-21s.
Yeah,
it's probably the best shout, because obviously if you qualify, and then maybe if I get a little bit older, maybe Q school, or I think I'm gonna play in Q school pretty soon, this year or next year. Yeah. But probably just for a bit of experience, but probably the European under-21s, but then if not, the Q tour and Q school.
Okay. What cue do you use? Is something that I'm gonna ask all my guests.
Yeah, I had a couple, but I changed about quite a bit when I was younger, and then I had a ton per am. That was nice. And then I've just changed within the last couple of months to a Maximus Ultimate.
Oh, okay. How's that doing you?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to my old one, to be honest. Like same sort of spec, same weight, same sort of.
Do you know the weight and the tip size off the top of your head?
Yeah. I think the weight is 18.3 ounces. I think the tip is 9.8 or 9.9.
Big one.
Yeah, very big. Yeah, my old one was 10.3. So
I don't know. I mean, my cue, I've got like a mushroom tip on my cue. I just feel that it gets more reaction out of the cue. Well, it's probably in my head, but that's just me. I can see some trophies behind you right there. Are they all the ones that you've won?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Down, kid. Get them down. Let's have a look.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let's have a look.
My mum was like, when you do it in front of your trophies, I was like, look, I'm trying too hard. How do you flip this on? Wait there. Do you flip it on? I'll just go like that.
There we go. Beautiful. So what we got? Talk us through
them. Like all the ones on the bottom are more all the ones I've sort of won.
That one there in the middle looks like one that you won when you came to mine, one of my tournaments. Don't know if it is.
It is here somewhere. I can have to dig it out.
Probably hiding at the back.
No. It's here somewhere. Where is it? Wait, it should be up here now. Do you actually want me to find it?
You don't have to. I just wondered if you could just talk us through where you'd got them all from. What sort of
here it is. There.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks different to what I remember.
Yeah, that's it. Just sort of all the bottom ones are really from all the under 14s events I've won. Is an under 21s event runner up there. Is an under 16s event winner, and then as you move across is the 18s that I've won.
Yeah.
And then the
I can only see you, Ollie. I can't see the trophies.
Oh, right, yeah. And then you've obviously got the under 18s I've won, the other 18s I've won, the Q Stars I've won, and then 14s, another Q Stars, and then at the back it's more maybe a couple of under 21s trophies, and then there's like an 18s or whatever. Then there's obviously your one there. And then there's just sort of a couple of runners-up ones, like the Welsh Under 14s Championship runner-up. That was just quite a nice one. I quite like that. Then they're all sort of like runner-up ones for there. And then the top ones are really just from like sort of when I was really young, and like obviously all the junior club ones from when I was in junior club.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wasn't particularly much good, but I sort of like maybe managed to win a couple like the highest break and sort of stuff like that in junior club.
Well, thanks for showing us them. I think you might need to get a bigger shelf at some point.
I've got a couple hidden away in the attic, I think. I can't quite fit on it.
You got even more. You'd have to come on again and show us them ones as well. So, do you practice with any of the other younger players that have qualified with yourself for the upcoming tournament in Malta? Do you practice with any of them regularly? So, do you know them quite well?
No, not particularly. I sort of see them at events and stuff, say all right, but I sort of tend to stick with maybe like Andrew Padgett. Dylan Emery comes over for a game. Dayton Barras plays in the same team as me. I don't know whether you'd know him. Maybe have a game with him.
Name rings a bell.
Maybe on like a Wednesday or something when we're going to play in the league. I might have a couple of games with him. But that's about it, really. I don't regularly practice with anyone. Sort of like Darren if he gets his cue out.
Yeah.
Again, but that's about it.
Well, at the minute, isn't he? In the seniors, I think is he ranked number 1 from what I was reading?
I think he's going to the Crucible now. I think he has qualified for that, so that'll be good.
So yeah. Would you say that the Welsh snooker is in good hands at the moment?
Yeah, it's definitely in better hands than it was, and it's definitely improving. Obviously, there's still stuff that could be worked on, but I'm sure they're trying their best. Sort of the junior scene's definitely gone up. I remember when obviously I first started playing, you had like Dylan Emery, Jackson Page. Then it was maybe a couple of others that were very close to being on tour, like Tyler Reese, very good player.
Yeah.
Sort of all them lot. And then obviously it died down for a little bit. It was just sort of me and Liam. And then maybe now there's definitely a couple of ones that have improved and coming back up, and like the coaching teams come through with lots of like I don't know whether you know him, Britt Washer, that does a lot of work in around South Wales. He's like national coach. He does a very good job. And yeah, this is definitely on the up. There's definitely more juniors coming through.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. I forgot what I was going to ask you now. What I was going to say is we've got a couple of a few Welsh players coming onto the podcast soon. Alex Taubman. Know Alex? Do you know Alex very well?
Not particularly. Obviously, I'm down from south and he's up north, but very good player again.
And Jack Bradford, who was on the 900. Do you know Jack at all?
Yeah. Again, he's up north, so I ain't really spoke to him too much. But yeah, they're two very, very, very good players.
Yeah, I've met them both a couple of times, and really nice guys as well, which is always good to see. Apparently, all of you guys from Wales are really nice.
Yeah, something like that. I'd like to think so.
Can't say I've met anyone that's not very nice from Wales yet. Right, another question for you, which you might have to think about, and we did briefly mention this. If your funniest story.
I've got a couple, but the one that springs to mind is I was out in Portugal for the European Championships, and one of my mates were playing, and I didn't realise there was the light switch behind me. So I've gone to lean against the wall and leant on the light switch, and all the lights have come on, and I've just had to walk out. It's the worst feeling in the world. They've all got up and all looked round us oh no. So
did anyone miss a shot or miss a pot or anything?
Yeah, he missed a black off a spot afterwards. Yeah, one
did they know it was you, or did you just wander off?
I sort of just walked off. Yeah, it was terrible, honest to God.
No one. Well, I mean, they know it was you now.
Well, yeah, of course they. Well, yeah, I think they did at the time as well.
If they're listening, then you know that Ollie's to blame for that one. Right, so I've run out of questions for you. So we'll try and drag this out a little bit more. Is there anything you want to add?
There's not much, mate.
No? See,
No.
Because you're so young, you haven't got as many stories as all the others.
None. I have to come back on in a couple of years now. And
yeah, maybe. Yeah, when you've turned pro, we'll get you back on. So do you play in a league or anything like that?
Yeah, I used to play in the Newport League on Friday, but at the moment I play in the Rumney Valley League. So that's obviously you've got players like Liam, Lee Walker, Darren. You've got Paul Davis, who used to be a pro. He's playing in it. And then our team we got a brilliant team. We got me, Darren, his brother Wayne, who's lovely. Then you've got Dayton. And then you've got another lad who used to play for Wales when he's very young, Lewis Hurrell, who's a very good player. Brian Rees, who's on the Welsh board. He's doing wonders for Welsh Snooker at the moment. And then you've got a couple of others. Taylor, Wayne's son, Darren's nephew, which is brilliant to be on a team with. We've got a really good team at the moment going on. And
you've got a lot of players on a team. Is it how does that work? Because in a lot of my local leagues, they're not as many as they used to be. It used to be booming about 20 years ago. You just have 3 on a team, and then you do 2 frames each. It seems that you've got quite a few players.
Down here we do 5 frames, 1 frame each, 5 players on a team. But obviously some weeks players can't make it.
Yeah.
And then obviously we gotta sort of drag someone else in. And then obviously we've got little tournaments like the South Wales Open, it's a 3-man team like you just mentioned. Same in the Merthyr, you sort of play 2 frames each in one big tournament. A team for that's normally me, Darren, and his brother Wayne. It's normally a good one.
Do you just play snooker now, or do you like to sometimes play a bit of pool?
Sort of playing a pool league maybe on a Sunday night. I remember getting the semi-finals of the singles a couple of years ago, but I don't know. I think I'm just better off sticking to snooker. Stick the way you do that.
You're not tempted to try and join Ultimate Pool because that's booming at the minute.
Yeah, I know. I just think obviously if there's they do tournaments and stuff in my club that Darren runs, and sort of maybe I could just I play in the pool now and again, but apart from that I don't really touch the pool tables.
Just while we're talking about pool, especially Ultimate Pool, there's quite a few professional snooker players that are going over to it. Sort of Mark Selby, but he's obviously a former world pool champion. Got Joe O'Connor again. He used to play pool a lot. Do you have any thoughts about them sort of going over?
I think it's good. I think it's any like sort of recognition Q Sports can get. It can't be bad as long as it's good, and as long as it's sort of positive. Any sort of advert for snooker, pool, billiards, whatever, I think it's brilliant. Anything that attracts more attention towards the sport's brilliant.
So whilst you're on about attracting attention, obviously there's been talk the last decade or so about snooker going into the Olympics. I personally think it'd be brilliant if they got it as an Olympic sport. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, like I said, just anything that sort of like promotes the game, snooker, anything. As long as it's a good sort of thing, and I think if snooker sort of was brought into the Olympics, it'd be massive for the sport.
Yeah, I totally agree. It puzzles me why they haven't put it in, because it's obviously a sport. I don't, some of the stuff they have in the Olympics is just mind-boggling why they're in the Olympics, and snooker's not. But that's just how it is. So before we say bye, I'm just going to do a little skit that we call the shameless plug, where I just say what's going on at the club. So we've got a new series of pool tournaments coming up. We're doing one event a month, and we have 64 players in each event, and the top ranked 64 players at the end of November, they'll be going through to the December one. It's only a tenner to enter, so if anyone's listening or watching that wants to get involved, you can go to the Tamworth Sports Bar Facebook page, just drop us a message, and we can go from there. I do my 6 Reds competition on a Friday night at 7 p.m. Again, that's a tenner to enter, so if anyone wants to join in with that, it's good. Still haven't had a 2-time winner. 12-year-old Nicholas Ayers, he won it last week, knocked in a 52, just casually knocked in a 52 in a six frame in the 6 Reds, which is pretty good considering there's only 75 points on the table. Have you ever played 6 Reds tournament, Ollie?
No, not really. I can't really recall one. No. No,
the rules are a bit different. But,
yeah.
You're not allowed to snooker behind a nominated ball. And if you foul and a miss, I think it's 4 times. You can have cue ball in hand, which is different.
Yeah, definitely.
What else have we got? We've obviously got the Tamworth cues located here at the club. If anyone's looking for a new cue, case, accessories, anything like that, you can come down, or you can go to tamworthcues.co.uk and you can find goodies on there. I think that's about it for now. So I'll say thank you very much. I know you can't see me on the screen, but I'm giving you a virtual high five.
Thank you very much.
So you do it, and I'll try and do it. We'll time it. Go on. There we go. That'll do.
Right.
So thanks very much, Ollie. Thank you for joining us. Next week on the podcast, or next time we upload it, we've got the 1993 British Open champion Nigel Bond coming on. So that's going to be a really good episode. If you have any questions for Nigel, just drop us a message, leave a comment on the Right on Cue podcast Facebook page. And thank you for watching, listening, however you've tuned in to see the Welsh Wonderkid today. That nickname is going to stick. Until you're about 30, then we'll